Okay, so we've got a rematch here. This is game number 2. We played our first game, and it wound up being a draw. And so now I have to decide what I'm going to play. I don't think I want to go with my b4 stuff, so I'm going to play what I normally play, or what I would consider my main move. Okay. So Patrick aborted. He's sending me a message, so just hold on. Okay. Let's rematch this. And let me guess, it's going to... Okay, good. It still makes me white. Okay, so another surprise. Patrick had been playing the Scandinavian against me, so interesting. He's going for the Sicilian. Now, I used to look at b4. And it's a line played by Simon Williams. But it's been so long since I've looked at it, I think it would be much more prudent to stay the course. And we'll go with our Open Sicilian. Okay, but now we have a choice. I could go for a King's Indian attack, which would be kind of funny, given that we played somewhat of a King's Indian attack in the first game. So let's, for the sake of the fans, not do that. Let's go with the Open Sicilian. So a6. Now, early a6 is very flexible for black. The only downside is that it does allow white to establish these two pawns in the center. And I think that's what I'm going to wind up doing. Which is funny because normally I'll just play knight c3. But I played somebody on stream, one of our viewers, in Blitz, and I got a really bad game. And I wound up losing the game due to a blunder. And so my opponent had mentioned that c4 is normally the move, and I've seen it before, so I said to myself that I was going to play c4 the next time I had such a position, so here we are. Okay, so long story short, what do we do here? This is about the extent of my theory in this line. If I go bishop to e3, is he going bishop to c5? Well, no, because then I have knight takes e6 followed by bishop takes c5, I believe. So let's just develop our bishop. Yeah, so chess.com is showing that this is the Khan defense, Sicilian Khan, which is what black initiates by playing e6. And it's also the Maroczy bind formation, which is the e4 and c4 pawns. Basically, it's giving white a lot of space. White has those 3 squares under control. Okay, so knight there. So if I were to go bishop to e2, how do I deal with bishop b4? Because then knight takes e4 is threatened due to the pin. I know in a lot of these lines you take on c6. you take on c6, and then if you were to take with the queen, do I have e5? But then he's got knight e4. I mean, I could play knight c2, which looks at that square. Bishop d3 might be possible, but then I'm always susceptible to knight e5, hitting the bishop. F3, I know this is a common structure in the Maroczy bind, but in the Sicilian, I wonder if that's just a tad too slow. It feels like it might be slow. So can I go bishop e2, bishop b4, queen c2? And if he wants to give up his good dark squared bishop, I'll accept the poor pawn structure because I would get the two bishops. I mean, I might go that route. Knight takes is also possible. Just don't know. Well, if you were to go queen takes, my idea was queen c2, but actually after takes, I could just throw in bishop to d3. Yeah, I feel like f4 should be the plan, with the idea of going e5 at some point. So I think I am going to try knight takes, and if they take with the queen, does that make it easier if he goes here? Knight takes, queen takes, bishop d3, bishop c5. Something tells me that's not the correct way to go for me. So maybe I'll go with my alternative idea, bishop e2, bishop b4, queen c2, takes and takes. And yeah, we have the bad pawn structure, but we will have the two bishops. Okay, we're going to try. And one way or the other, we're going to learn something in this game. And if we screwed up the opening, we are going to check it afterwards. So anyway, welcome everybody to game number 2. First game turned out to be a draw. Appreciate you guys watching. And if you haven't done so already, please do consider a follow. I'm just starting out here on Kick. Okay, let's castle. I normally stream on Twitch using the same username, NotFischer. But I want to see how this Kick thing goes. So I might stream more on Kick over time. So do help me build up the stream. I would appreciate that. Okay, rook c1 makes a lot of sense, just lining it up with the queen. Also, maybe we're going to protect the c-pawn. So I'm just going to take a drink here. All right. So, okay, so he took there, makes sense. Now I could take with the bishop, but maybe his idea is bishop to d4. So I'm going to take with the queen instead. And having the queen on d4 is useful when black no longer has the option of knight c6 attacking the queen. So white does frequently capture back with the queen. I mean, the queen is in a very nice centralized location. It looks at both sides of the board, and also it frees up the d1 square, useful square for the rook. Multi-purpose. Okay. d6. And now rook d1 certainly looks logical. So now this is a pretty typical position for the Maroczy bind. And so black pieces are on these 3 rows, and white therefore has more space because white's pieces are on 4 rows. And the challenge for black sometimes is finding squares for his pieces. So it was useful for black to trade that knight, and in fact maybe I should have played knight c2 at some point, because with the knight on c6 it kind of gets in the way of black's pieces. So bishop d7, bishop c6 wouldn't be possible because the knight would be sitting on c6. So generally when you have less space, that's what you want to do, is you want to trade some pieces so that your own pieces are not falling over one another. Okay, is knight a4 kind of stupid? Maybe knight a4 he just goes knight here. Yeah, I suspect knight d7 is coming anyway with bishop here at some point. So f4 is a candidate move, b3 is. f4 I think makes a lot of sense because the c-pawn is adequately defended, so it might be possible that I don't have to play b3 and I can go b4 at some point. So I'm gonna stay aggressive here. But if I go f4, is his idea to play e5? Well, if you were to do that, the d5 square would be very weak. But actually, more I'm looking at that, take bishop e6. And the thinking is that he's just going to rip off whatever goes on that square. But maybe f4 is not the way to go. Although I suppose if I choose f3, I mean he could still play e5 anyway. How do I want to do this? Here, take. I don't know if that's anything to write home about. Take bishop e6, b3. Maybe I just sit on that and try to take the knight off and... Okay, well, I think a good choice between f3 and f4. f4 makes the most sense to me, so more aggressive. Yeah, the queen is nice here, but it is susceptible to being kicked. Also with like bishop f6. So I might want to pull it back. I wonder if I can go into an endgame, if that... I think the endgame typically is good for black. I mean, it's just general terms. Generally in the Sicilian, black has the better pawn structure. And so if you can get the queens off, the better pawn structure is preferred in the endgame. Okay, so I could go bishop to f3 just to overprotect there. Bishop c6. I've got ideas of knight d5. So let's go here. And if rook c8, I can secure the c4 pawn, which is common. Yeah, okay, so we're going to go this route. So this is, yeah, a typical Sicilian game, open Sicilian game. Black has pressure on the c-file, and white has a good center. And often leads to some very aggressive battles. I wonder if I have time for like an elaborate maneuver like this. Maybe that's a little too elaborate. Okay, that's good move. Good move, because you're getting out of the line of sight, and he wants to play b5, I'm sure. So can I stop b5? If I go queen b6, rook c6, queen a5, there's b5. Well, then I've always got e5, and I'm hitting the rook and hitting the knight at the same time. So maybe I can play that, just to try to stop b5. I could also play a4. a4 makes sense. But then again, yeah, he probably can, yeah, it looks like he can still play that. So if I want to stop it, I have to put my queen in front. I wonder if I can consider this move, though. But he might still be able to play it. Knight b6. I mean, I could get the two bishops there. The thing that concerns me about this is that, you know, let's say he goes rook here. Now he's ready to play bishop d8 to hit my queen. But he won't be able to do that right away. Yeah, it's almost like if I go here and he goes here after queen a5, well, he's got to deal with this immediate threat of e5. And if he goes rook c6, queen a5, b6, I think I can safely take on a6. Or can I? Because then there's b5. Now that is quite interesting. And if by interesting I mean annoying. Rook here. Maybe I can try queen b4. Because the bishop is unprotected, so d5 can take. So here, queen b4, and he's got to deal with e5 here. So here, queen b4. What about like bishop f8? Whoops, bishop f8. So that if I go e5, he could take, and then his bishop is attacking my queen. I could throw the bishop in here, he could play d5, then maybe I play c5. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. Complicated. I think it's worth a try. Let's give it a try. All right. Things are heating up here. Curious to know if queen b6 is just a piece of malarkey or if it's engine approved. I guess we'll find out in the post-mortem. Yeah, so had I brought my queen back earlier, I would have had the option to play bishop to b6 here, which is really what I want to play. I really don't want my queen there. You know, there's another alternative that I totally didn't consider, but makes a lot of sense. Just bishop to c6 with knight d7, kicking the queen. So that's certainly possible. Bishop here, here. Let's go queen here. And can he still get away with this? Here. Yeah, that might be okay for me there. And he has played said move. Okay. Now, b4? Is that rather dumb? And if he goes b5, Yeah, I don't think c5's working quite there. So my a4 might be the way to go. Knight here. Queen here. I wonder if he has b6 there. So if I take bishop b7, I've got queen here. Any other ideas other than a4? I mean, if I move my queen now, I think he's just thrown in b5. So I think I've got to try a4 in order to justify this queen b6 move. So knight here. Do I play queen here? Bishop back. And then d5 is a big threat. Or is it? Can I allow d5? Maybe I can then play a5. And if he goes d5, I play c5. Okay, we're gonna find out, I think. So, I mean, I could go here, but even there, I think he just simply throws that in. So what is it that I don't like about this move? Well, it takes away the a5 possibility, but I guess there's knight here, and he's attacking b3. But that might be a better way for me to go, because if he goes knight c5, maybe then I go queen b4, and I'm a little sheltered from this bishop because the knight is on c4. So here, here, queen b4, and then I'm thinking if I can get in a5, whenever he goes b5, I can take en passant. And if I go here right away, here, 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 yeah, I'm not sure if he takes here. I can take here. Takes, takes. You'd have three guys attacking c5. I'd have three guys defending it. But I think I guess the thing is, if I go here and if he doesn't play this move, then what's my follow-up? b4 feels risky. But maybe it's okay because I can swing over here. Ooh, wait a minute now. Here, here, if I go here, does he have a5? Because if I take, knight b3 hits the rook and the queen. But I guess instead of taking, I could go back. Yeah, it's going to be sharp, that's for sure. I just don't like philosophically putting my queen in the line of sight of that bishop, so let's try here. If I go here, b6, and I take as my queen at risk, I could go queen here with the idea of bringing the rook over. But even there, I could play knight to b5. Yeah, let's go with this. I want to try this. Because at least with queen a5, I've got two escape squares, b4 and h5. Had I gone to b4, I really only have a5. Well, I mean, I suppose I could go b3, but I think the big concern is having that bishop in the line of sight of the queen, so not a good idea, methinks. This is a wild position, I say. 18 moves in. You know, maybe b4 is not such a stupid follow-up, considering the fact I have queen h5. Because with b4, I'm threatening b5, not only shutting this bishop out, but gaining more space, and therefore taking away squares from black's pieces. In fact, if he goes b6, I might even not bother taking this. I might just prefer the safety of the queen. It just feels so suspect if he goes b6 to take there. But I mean, that being said, I don't see a way for him to win the queen. He could go bishop to b7, then I can go queen here. And then if he goes back to c6, I can go here and be a healthy pawn up. And if he goes queen b7, I just take it. If he goes queen c7, I go knight b5. And the queen basically either has to go to b7 where I trade or back to b8. And if he goes to b8, knight c7 might be strong. Sorry, knight a7, pardon me, knight a7, forking those two guys. Yeah, there's knight there. Now, I don't want to take because then my queen is really running low of squares. So I was thinking of just here. If he takes, well, then we're going to double up. What if he goes b6 though? If I go here and he goes b6. So here b6, a5, maybe b5 then. I could take. But then I'd have a pass pawn, so that might not be so bad. So I moved the queen because knight takes b3 was a threat with the queen here. Knight b3, a fork. I feel like that might be the way to go. b6. Oh, and then if I go a5, actually you could take. Yeah, I may have misanalyzed that again. Yeah, b6, a5 takes, and again, if I take, well, then he gets the fork, at the very least. So maybe after b6, I go queen a3 with the hope of playing b4. b6, queen a3, queen b7, and he's got pressure on e4. So I don't think this is the best way to play this by me. I am quite concerned about b6. Shoot. b6, queen a3, queen b7. I'd almost have to take the knight on c5, which is an admission that something has gone wrong. But let's see. b4, knight takes e4. Whoop, knight takes e4. Let's do that again. b6, queen a3, queen b7, b4, knight takes e4. I can't go b5 because he's got knight takes c3. No, then I take here and I'm hitting the queen. Okay. So there might be something to this. Hold on. Queen b7, b4, knight takes, b5. And if the bishop has to move, I'm just winning the knight. Oh, but maybe, oh. Yeah, this guy comes to life. Here. There. Here. Here. b5. Does he then have d5 with his bishop on e7 hitting my queen on a3? So if I take, he's going to take, I take, hitting the rook. He could take my rook. I take his rook. He takes my bishop with check. Yeah, this is going to be, that's quite complicated. Here, 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 here. Here, here. Maybe I go c5 there. Yeah, okay, so I think we have to dive in. I think we have to try this. Yeah, okay, so, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. I think we have to go for it. And basically, may the best man win. Now, bishop takes is actually rather interesting. Takes, takes, queen takes. Certainly wouldn't be overly comfortable in that position. Having the queen hover around my king. But let's have a look at this again. So here, here, here. If I take, he takes. I take, he takes. I could take with the rook. Okay, this might get gonna get interesting. So here, if he goes here, I'm wondering. So I'm up a piece. He takes me. I take. So now I'm down the exchange. But now I've got two pieces for the rook. And if he moves, I'm just up a piece there. And if he takes here, I just take the rook, and I'm taking here next move. So okay. Very wild position. So this is the benefit of playing Queen b7, is that it holds his bishop. So it does give him this option of d5 in addition to furthering the strength of e4. Now the question is, if he takes, I think I want to take this way. I mean, normally it's a general rule of thumb to take towards the center, but you should always evaluate both methods, or all options, I mean. My only concern about taking with the c-pawn is that it opens up the rook, but maybe it's not such a big deal. I suppose if I take, it does allow him to hit the queen, but I don't think that's a big deal here. So takes, rook a8. I could just simply move the queen, I believe. Just play queen to b2. Then he takes, I take, and then he takes the rook, hitting the queen. But I take his queen, he takes my queen, I take the rook. Oh, but the rook's not on c8 anymore, it's here. So I'd take here. He would take, and then what's the story there? There's rook and two bishops for me, and rook and knight and bishop for him. Now what's the difference if I take this way? Well, he doesn't have rook a8 in that instance. Okay, d5. And we go take, 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 take. Aha, so this is the difference. So if I take here, because the c file is open, he has rook takes here, I believe. Very important. But then I could play, this is wild. I could play bishop takes, and he could take me. I take back. I'd have two bishops. He'd have a bishop and a rook. But my pawn would be sitting on b7. Unfortunately, I don't think I would be able to easily improve it. So maybe I have to go this route. Rook A8. Okay, yeah, so here, Rook A8. Here, here, here. So at that point, I'm up a piece. But he could play this move, regaining material equality. Then I could play bishop here, hitting the rook. Rook here, bishop c7. I think I'm coming ahead there. Okay, let's try. Okay, so he's bringing the bishop all the way back. Okay. Ah, very clever, Patrick. Very clever. So his idea is that either way I take, he's going to play d5. It's going to hit whatever piece is here. But more importantly, bishop is going to be hitting my queen. So can I delay the decision to take here? If I say, let's say I go queen b2. I mean, I think he can simply go f5, cementing the knight. I'm trying to use the fact that the knight is pinned. So let's see. If I take with the bishop, he goes d5. I can go queen a6, takes. He takes me here. Take on b6, rook d7. Hold on now. Let's back the truck up. Here, takes, then takes. Take here, he could take, I take. What's the story there? It looks advantageous to me. Is there any benefit to taking with a knight? Take, okay, here, take. And I've got the two bishops. So let's say he were to take here, rook c4, he's hitting my bishop. Well, I think I just go here and I'm queening. So here, take. If he takes with the bishop, I take. Yeah, and I'm ready to rock and roll here. So I think that looks pretty good. If I go here, d5, queen a6, don't think he has time to not take it. The queen, that is. because then I can simply move my knight, and then I'm up a piece. So let's see what he has in mind. So yeah, okay, so we're going to go queen a6. We're going to get a strong pass pawn here, assuming. I believe queen takes is forced. And now, do I take the rook, or do I play bishop takes e4? What was it that I analyzed? I think if I take here, it allows him to play bishop here. I could take. Then he could go here, but even there, he's still too slow. And is there any difference if he takes with the rook? Don't think so. I think that's going to be an issue. So if I take, I guess the good thing about taking is that it takes away this option for him. So I think I will take once. And leaving this pawn is actually useful because I'm envisioning, like, if this pawn weren't here, he might be able to play like bishop c6. And when I take, he could always go behind the pawn. Although I suppose I always have rook a1, so yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to stop that pawn from what I see. So let's take. Now, the important thing is the bishop is holding the rook, because otherwise this might be a move. Because then he would have been able to take, but of course it doesn't work here because I take back. But what about here takes? Okay, so we're going to see this. Here, here, here. He's got to go back. Okay, then I can go rook here, but he can get his king out. So maybe I didn't play this the most precisely. Okay, what about here, here? Does rook d1 do anything? I mean, he's going to go back anyway. I'm going to go here. Let's say he goes here. I could sack the rook, then play bishop here. Yeah, then I've got two passed pawns. Is that enough? Or does his king come over to stop all that crap? I don't think I want to... Okay, I think taking makes sense. Let's just have another look here. So here, only move is that. Does c5 help? what's the idea? So takes, rook over, rook b5, and we might be making progress, but he's got bishop c7 there. And if he goes, sorry, here, now c5. If he goes b5, I think we're just winning that pawn. Right, and the problem is he's got back rank weaknesses, so he could go here, I can take, and he can't take this because I've got rook b8, rook d7, bishop here, and I'm winning the piece. So let's look at this. Here, here. Okay, and if he takes, take, here, bishop here, rook b7. Let's go bishop d6. And maybe all I have to do is play g3. My idea was bishop c5, but he takes that with check. Okay. Is there any value in throwing this in? Here. Well, he doesn't have to move that right away. So here. Let's say he goes bishop here. Well, he probably is not going to give that up voluntarily. So here. What about bishop here? Then I could go here. And maybe... Yeah, he's kind of stuck there, isn't he? So rook here. Bishop here. Well, that's going to allow me to get this tempo on the bishop. I doubt he wants to allow me to get that. So here, rook here. And I think he can't stop me from going here, right? Okay. So yeah, the problem is he's got major back rank weaknesses here. And he resigned. Okay. All right. Let's do an analysis. Let's have a look here. So let's go to the study. Studies I contribute to. There we go. No, that's not it. That's not it. Training games. There we go. Okay. So let's call Patrick.
Hey, Aaron.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm getting a message that it's not detecting my mic, but okay.
Okay. No, I can hear it.
Okay. Did you put the game in?
Yep, I'm setting it up right now. Orientation is going to be white. Okay. I think it should be in now.
Yeah.
Game 15. Okay, yeah.
So we have a Maroxy buying kind of structure. I only I normally play knight c3 here, but
Okay.
I had a bad game recently with knight c3, so I know c4 is common, so I gave it a try, but I don't really know the theory.
Okay. Well, I'm not very Oh, I understand why Discord is saying that your microphone isn't on. I can hear myself when I speak. I can hear the echo.
Oh, okay,
There's a lag.
gotcha. So knight c6. Okay, it looks like
Oh, sorry. You know what? It's my fault, the echo. Sorry.
bishop e3. Okay, it looks like we're playing book moves up
Yeah,
until
I
this.
was gonna say, so you said you're not very familiar with the Maroxybine. You know, I started playing the Sicilian recently. I'm just getting by. So, yeah, so I wasn't that familiar either with the opening.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the structure, but I'm not familiar coming out of it in this line with a6. Um,
Okay.
Now, engine is showing a3, which to me seems funny. I mean, I know the idea. You want to prevent bishop b4. Um, I always try not to make those moves if I can get away with them.
Okay.
Rook c1 is the most popular played move. And yeah, it says that's fine. Bishop e2 is the third most popular.
Bishop e2 looks nice.
But yeah, it wants to go bishop to b4,
Okay.
which I looked at. I was planning queen c2, I think. Interesting. It wants to take and then play queen b3. Okay, what's the problem with queen c2? Knight takes, bishop takes, e5, it says.
Okay.
Bishop e3. It actually wants me to take back with the queen and give up the e-pawn.
Okay.
So I got the two bishops as compensation and
Development also.
a lead in development. Yeah. I mean, I was also thinking, I mean, it might turn out like that if you were to take here. Interesting that I was going to say. I was planning to take back with the pawn actually,
Yeah, that
even
looks.
even though it looks ugly.
What about after that? What about knight here?
Yeah, that's what the engine is showing.
Okay. Oh, and actually,
Okay.
the score in the Lichess database, black is scoring almost 2-1.
Okay, so my queen is tied to that, so I don't have the chance to play queen b3, so I would have had to play c5 here.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it does defend it for now.
But then you've got this move, so it looks like
Oh, okay.
I almost have to like undevelop my bishop.
Or either takes or just knight to b3. Because black is threatening to take the bishop and then the pawn.
Yep. But if I go knight b3 in this position, I think you're fine with that because my pawn structure is so atrocious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it looks like I would have had to throw in knight takes. Sorry. I would have had to have the foresight to play this, which I don't know if I was going to. So now the engine is saying instead of queen c2, play queen b3. Okay, this makes a lot more sense to me, because if you do take and I take with the queen, well,
Now you're on G7.
exactly. That makes more sense to me. Right, whereas in the previous line, by allowing you to take me, it gives you the opportunity to close the diagonal.
That's why E5.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I said during the game, I said, well, I don't know the theory all that well, but we're going to learn something after the game anyway.
Yeah.
Bishop E7, yeah, it's showing 1.3. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, that's not a good score.
It's probably because of the space, right? Because the computer's always
Yeah, probably.
Space. Like Bishop
I was
E7
crammed the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, Bishop E7 is a logical move, though. But yeah, Bishop B4, I think, is more in the
Yeah, I considered it, but
spirit.
what about D6? Does it change the score, or?
It probably would just transpose to what we did in the game.
No, it's the same thing. Okay.
Yeah. Although there is a game in the database played by two very strong players and Black won.
Okay, that could have been us.
It's gonna be. Oh, we played it on chess.com though. Yeah.
No, yeah, but I was kidding.
So Bishop E7, castles, Rook C1, Okay, yeah, you took, which is fine, because when you're cramped, it's a good idea to trade some pieces. So D6. So I thought once we got to this position, like, it looks like a typical Moroccan.
Here I was worried. I don't know if I was wrong or not. I was worried about. I think I had found a solution. I forget what it is. I was worried about knight to A4.
Yeah, that's actually what the engine wants to do, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure what to do after this. Like, why is?
Oh, so the engine likes knight D7. Okay.
Well, no, I'm just saying during the game I looked at knight D7 and I wasn't sure.
Okay.
I figured, okay, well, you've got this covered, but I guess the idea is not so much to go to B6, but maybe to expand with the pawns. I don't know. I don't get it.
Okay.
Because the engine is showing H6. Yeah, and then we go knight B6. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I missed the knight D7. I mean, I'm sure I would have found it during the game, but I didn't get there.
I mean, maybe white's better because like this guy is not developed yet.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of space.
And I guess if you were to try, like, let's just make a move here.
You could start even A4. Why not A4? Just start pushing the pawns on the queen side.
Yeah. That actually probably is more accurate, isn't it? Maybe B5 too. B5 is also possible.
Yeah.
You take away this square, yeah.
Then eventually, if you could sacrifice E4 with E5 and then play C4. Anyway, yeah, but I didn't get there.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll keep that in mind. Knight A4 looks to be strong, but F4 seemed logical to me as well.
Okay, and then I played, I think, Bishop D7 to get rid of Knight A4.
Yeah. So it wants to play B4 here. What did I do? I went Bishop F3.
Okay, which I thought was good. It was giving me problems.
Yeah. And then here I thought, like, okay, this just looks like a normal Sicilian where white has a nice center, black has, the C-file pressure.
Uh-huh.
I bet you the engine doesn't like my B3. Okay. It went down a tiny bit, but it actually wants to play a ridiculous move. Now, this is funny. It wants to go Queen A7. Okay, get this. Rook A8. Okay.
And then queen to b6.
Okay, now it wants to play queen b6, but earlier
Yeah.
it was saying queen d4, rook c8, and then b3.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like it wants to basically draw your rook here and
Yeah,
then play
the corner
b6.
out of the c file. Because I did like your move, queen to b6.
I'm curious. Yeah, let's get to that position because I'm curious if that was sound. I liked your move there. I mean, it makes sense. You want to get off of this.
Yeah, and then I thought you would play queen to b6. I thought that was a good move. I didn't like queen to a5 though.
Did you consider bishop to c6?
Maybe. Oh, I was worried about knight in the center. I was
Good.
worried about this.
I've fallen for that myself a lot as black.
Okay. Yeah. No, I the whole game I was worried about that kind of tactic. Even later it came back. I was considering a line where I was playing queen to c7 back, queen b8 back to c7, and then I was running into that knight line again. So yeah, that's why I played queen to b8. I was tired of this tactic.
Okay, so queen b6, it's still 0.8 for white, but its recommendation is to trade the queens with queen a7. Okay. My first question is, why does black have to trade? Well, I suppose it doesn't hurt, because my bishop's kind of dumb there. Oh, maybe that's...
Otherwise, maybe... Yeah, maybe if black doesn't trade, so for example, here, let's say some stupid move like h6, maybe e5, because now you've got a double attack.
You're right.
On b7. I don't know if that works or not, but maybe that's why.
And bishop b6 is possible too, yeah. It's funny how, sometimes the computer comes up with like such a simple solution.
Yeah.
Bishop c6, and then bishop b6, rook e8, and basically
Okay.
I've got a big positional edge.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. b4, knight d7. That's the thing. You always got knight d7 to kick me out.
Yeah, but you've got a lot of space, I guess. And my bishop on e7 looks a little bit stupid.
Is b5 just really stupid here? Takes.
b5, then a2 looks weak.
Actually wants to try a4 here.
Okay.
Okay, it's showing it's not that great.
Okay.
It's changed its mind to a3.
Okay, well, I don't like this because, you've got two pawns that are controlled by one pawn.
Yeah, I agree. Optically, I don't see why this would be good for white, but...
Because next, I think both rooks there if white tries to attack the pawn.
I must be able to get an a4 later on to get rid of that. Interesting. Okay, so let's see what happened in the game. So
okay, yeah, because we're nearing where I kind of messed up.
So queen b6,
and then okay, so you played a4, and that I felt like your queen was running out of squares except for going back to the center.
yes.
And so after knight d7, I thought you would go back to the center because queen. But it turned out super well for you. But I thought queen a5 was.
So
it was just.
The evaluation is now 0-0. So a4 is a mistake.
Okay.
It actually wants to go king h1. It gives h6 as black, which I don't think that you would have played that. I think you would have naturally gone knight d7.
Yeah, probably.
And now it says queen a5. Now the difference in this position
queen a5.
I've got this square.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Okay.
But I thought, was it here? I thought you could still get this move in here. Yeah, I thought maybe you could still get that move in, but maybe I take on a6 instead. Okay, that's the idea. So I just went a pawn that way.
I spent a lot of time trying to trap you queen, but I couldn't make it work. There was always one square, you know.
Yeah. Well, let's see what was wrong with a4 then. So it does say knight d7.
Okay.
It is giving queen b4.
Okay, queen b4.
So my thinking was, well, I don't want to play queen b4. I mean, I had two options, right? So I figured a5.
Bishop f8.
A5 is well, the thing with b4 is it lines it up with your bishop. And
yeah.
so my thinking was if I go to a5, I could still go to b4, but I also have access to h5.
Yeah. I was in some lines I was considering f5, which I couldn't do when your queen was on a5.
But now it's minus 0.9, minus 0.7.
Okay.
So let's see. It says knight c5, queen b4. Okay. And instead of b6, it wants to play.
Yeah, and here I spent a lot of time, and then b6 I did regret.
It wants to play bishop f6.
Okay, bishop f6 I dismissed.
And that's not so... oh, the idea is that, well, you've got pressure here, so you're going to pick up a pawn. That's the idea. So,
okay.
Because you're going to get rid of the knight.
Yep.
So after a5 takes...
that's so simple, too.
Bishop takes, maybe.
Yeah, that is so simple. Surprisingly, because now in this line I'm up a pawn, but the engine is still relatively close to 0.
Right here, bishop e2. It's still 0.8 in your favor here.
Yeah, which is pretty good. But I mean, to my eye, it looks like black is. I mean, if black is up a pawn, that looks good enough.
Yeah. Again.
Oh, but you know what?
Yeah.
Sorry, in that line. Let's go back. Oh, in what line were you? Were you at bishop f6? Okay, yeah.
Bishop f6,
I think here, I think... Oh, okay, no. No, never mind. I thought black had to take back. You know, if white trades, I thought black had to take back, and then you lose back the pawn, which I thought might be why the score was relatively even, but black can just take back with the rook.
Right.
And it's also blocking the pawn, so okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I was so concerned about you getting b5 in that I never even thought of like alternative moves here. I never thought of bishop f6.
Okay, yeah, no, me neither. I didn't think of bishop f6, and it looks so simple now. You know, now that we're seeing it. But I was looking at. I think I did consider b5, but I don't know why, but I dismissed it. But I was considering, I think, rook here to protect, or maybe the other rook, I forget which one, but to protect the pawn. And then I was trying to figure out, should I play b6, queen b7 to defend the bishop and pile up on this pawn, or should I play queen a8 first and then play, you know, to pile up on the pawn, and then play b6 or b5? But then the bishop on e7 was not defended, so I still couldn't use the, you know, the discovered attack tactic. So yeah, so that's how I landed.
F8?
I did consider it, but I forget why I wanted to keep the bishop. You know, maybe I was considering at some point bishop f6, because I do remember not wanting to play bishop f8, but I forget why.
Makes sense.
Or maybe it was
bishop f8 is very passive, right? So that makes sense.
Yeah. So the engine likes it though.
b6, it's still minus 0.5, so it still prefers you.
Okay, so I messed up the next move then.
Queen a3. And this was B7. The move in the game that I was concerned about, was a5.
Okay, I did see it. I thought you would just play something like queen to b2.
But I thought that Yeah, I think that's what I ultimately was going to do.
Oh,
I thought when you play
queen to b2.
a5, it gives me the b5 square. But I can't do that right away
Okay.
because then you take on e4.
Okay, same thing with queen to b2, by the way. Queen to b2 runs into bishop f6 again.
Actually, I don't even know if I could protect the e4 pawn. Because if I go queen a2, bishop f6, queen c2, well, you still take it and you're still going to win the pawn.
Okay, you have queen b1 maybe. Oh, but it doesn't.
Queen b1,
No, but
okay.
does it fix it? Oh, yeah, it does fix it, huh?
It
Yeah, yeah.
does, yeah.
Okay.
Or does it? Hold on. Takes, and what about queen b7?
Okay, yeah, that
I
is
have
difficult.
to take the
Oh,
knight.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I think you have to take the rook as well.
This is just a big draw.
Oh, you know what? Or you push the pawn because the rook defends the bishop.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. But certainly a5. It looks like after a5, it's starting to get closer to equals. But what does it say about queen b7? Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
queen
like
b7. Is this where I messed up or?
Yeah, it's plus 0.7 now.
Okay, so but it's not enough to justify the rest of the game. I mean, I should have been able. So what about? So you played b4,
Yep.
and then maybe that's where I messed up. I'm not sure. I thought that was queen b7 or b6 where I messed up.
Well, I was wondering about, and this is what the engine is giving. Bishop takes.
What did I play? I didn't play bishop takes.
Interesting. It wants me to take back on e4. Huh. So during the game, I was looking at this, and I was really concerned about this.
Okay.
Because after here and here,
Bishop's attacked.
the engine is actually in your favor.
Okay.
Minus 1.2.
Let me just go back a little bit. I'm missing how you got there. So instead of oh, so here I played knight takes. Oh, but you know what? I missed b5. I mean that's the thing. I guess bishop takes. So what about? So you said this. You were worried about. Okay.
Yeah, this
But
is
this
what I
I've
calculated, and I was
okay.
worried.
Yeah. I mean for the engine, it says it's in my favor, but I mean I would have had to make it work because I'm down material.
Well, the thing is, what do I do here? Because my bishop's attacked. So how do I deal with that? If I go to f2, well, you could take on f4.
Okay.
I suppose I could go to d2.
Knight b1.
But it looks like you might even have perpetuals here too.
Okay, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, if I got to make a move like knight b1, like that just...
Knight b1 probably a draw, huh?
You can take on
Not
c5,
even.
and then what's the pawn situation? You've got 7, I've got 3. So it's kind of like the first game. You've got 3 pawns for the...
It is, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you have bishop takes pawn or no? Oh, no, because of bishop takes check.
I just think that my king is just so...
Yeah, open
that at the very least you should have a perpetual. So it actually... Let's actually look at the line. So
okay, but you know, I didn't even look at it because I missed b5.
So this is what the engine wants to do. So it just wants to take on b6.
Okay, that's the line that I thought we were going for. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
And so it's giving 0.9.
Okay, so even then I knew I had messed up, but
this is certainly better than what happened in the game with.
yeah, of course, yeah. Well, I didn't see b5.
But I guess
it was too late.
I guess my 3 pawns here against 1, I'm going to create a passer. It looks like that's probably why I have the edge here.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, when you take with the knight, then your bishop is messed up. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought you were going to go for, not bishop there, but I thought you were going to go for this, try to mix it up. It doesn't quite work.
Okay. Well, You know, so where did I? So okay, so bishop back. Let's say this. Okay, so of course this I didn't see queen to a6, and then the pass pawn. Yeah, so I think that's what it is. That I didn't see queen to a6 either. I mean, at this point, I was just trying to save material,
Yeah.
which might not have been the best approach, but I don't think I can win against you, you know, if I'm down material. So I was just trying to save the material.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I thought like this one this muddies the waters a lot, and
Okay.
I had to analyze and I mean there's lots to look at. I looked at here, here,
Yeah.
here.
Looks.
Okay. Now here's the thing.
Oh, because bishop.
If I take exactly, you take with check.
Okay. Yeah.
But fortunately, I can play here. And when you decide to save your rook, let's say you go here. I suppose, yeah, you could take here, couldn't you?
What about knight takes knight?
I'm a little surprised the engine wants to do that. I would have thought that you'd want to get rid of that pawn.
No, but the score is +6 though. I mean.
Oh, I guess that's the problem, because you can't take back if I take here. That's the problem. That's why it's +6.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, once I saw that I could take here, I knew I'd be fine. But it was still tricky. I mean, you have to analyze it, right?
Yeah, you say that, but I didn't analyze it.
No, I don't mean I don't mean to imply that like you should have analyzed it. I just
No. I know.
I just mean because it's, D5 muddies the water. It's something that we both would have had to analyze.
Yeah, but I didn't even look at d5 honestly. What about so here? I spent a lot of time trying to decide if I should take or not, and I was worried. Of course, when you played queen to a6, I regretted taking, but let's say I don't take and I play this immediately. I was worried about this because okay, so if I take. I lose the knight. Is that it? I forget what it was. This and then. Oh yeah, this still loses. Yeah.
But what if you tried something similar to the game? Let's look at that. So bishop e8, I take.
Yeah. Okay.
What
Yeah.
What if you stay on that diagonal? Queen a8. Bishop takes.
Okay. No. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay. No. But the knight is hanging. The bishop is hanging.
Oh,
That's why.
that's the difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I had to play this. So what about? I mean, even this, because the material is equal. The worst case scenario, you just.
Well, no,
you just try this.
I'm gonna take your knight. I'll be up a piece.
No, I know, but it just to show that it's really ridiculous the situation because this attacks the queen too.
Right.
You don't have time to do like in the game. So, okay, so which piece you took in the game with the knight?
Yeah. Well, this isn't the game, so it was.
No, I know. I was looking with b takes a6, so I don't take the pawn. And so I play bishop d8 or bishop e8 immediately, b takes a6, queen a7 to maintain defense of the bishop.
Gotcha.
To prepare to gain back the material. And then, so in the game you took with the knight.
Yep.
And
you played d5, right?
Boy, yeah. So what about now?
So it's saying c5.
Oh, but see the score on your screen. That's much better than whatever happened in the game.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, of course I'm still losing, but it's so I shouldn't have because of queen a6.
If I found knight b5 though, right, then you would have had d5.
Oh, okay.
But you're right. If I had played what I did in the game, this would have been a better try. Absolutely.
Okay.
So here.
Yeah, I was just completely screwed there.
Takes. That's.
I mean, queen to a6 was such a good move.
Bishop to e2, just holding on to the pawn. Actually, this would have been a better try for you. Because chances are I may not have seen knight b5, right?
Okay, I don't know.
Like in this position, after takes here, it's hard not to just take the material, right? So I could totally see
Yeah.
myself not playing knight b5 there.
The reason I saw knight b5 is because I mean, the material's equal. So here, if black say takes, with this, you just have a passed pawn on a6, which, let's say it's equal material. I mean, this looks really bad for black. So that's why, because you could just consolidate. You could just call it consolidating and then have a pass pawn on a6, and
That's right.
Um, so yeah. So unfortunately, So all this sequence. Even here, b6. After the fact, I thought maybe b6 was a mistake, but I guess not.
I think it was queen b7.
Queen b7 or taking with the knight, because you showed a line earlier that the engine likes with the
Yeah. It's
bishop
not so
takes. It
bad
still
taking with the
loses a
bishop.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. It still loses a piece, but it's got compensation. I don't think I would have, seen it, frankly, but yeah. So I regretted b6, and then, like you said, queen b7. A little bit like in our previous game where you blocked your bishop, I blocked my bishop.
That's kind of
I
funny,
saw it.
actually.
Yeah. No, it is very similar, huh?
We both did the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Different openings, but same thing happened. So
Yeah.
okay. Well, I mean, that was very useful. I'll know. That's why I like playing these practice games, rapid games with you, because that's really how you learn a slower game, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No, it is fun. It was fun. Thank you for the games, Aaron.
yeah, thanks very much. I hope that you'd like to play again in the future.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so let's stay in touch, and I'll let you know the next time I'm available. You let me know,
Okay.
and yeah,
Okay.
we can do this again.
Yeah, sure. Cool.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks, Patrick. I think I'm going to
All
head
right.
out for
Thank
the
you.
night. So you have a good rest of your night.
All right. You too. Thanks again for the games.
All right. Cheers.
All right. See ya.
Okay. Well, that's going to be it for us, folks. So thank you for everybody that tuned in and checked out our kick stream. Appreciate everybody tuning in. So if hey, thank you, Seigneur. Welcome. Thank you for the follow, and thank you for the chat. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you another time. Do know that I play on Twitch as well, so you can check out my Twitch channel. But until next time, everybody have a good evening